Hello beautiful people, thank you so much for tuning in. Today I am celebrating 40,000 subscribers, amazing. So I am answering 40 questions from 40,000 people and it's probably going to be the longest video I've ever made. So I'll try my best to keep things brief. Let's get started. What first got you into tin whistle? I was actually looking for an instrument to learn to play. I was looking at harps and smaller harp style instruments, and then my husband expressed an interest in wanting to play an instrument as well, so I started looking into really easy instruments for him to play because he doesn't have a musical background or a family that is musical. So tin whistle came up as one of the easier instruments to play, great for, again, for kids and for people who had no musical experience, as one of the easiest instruments to play. So I ordered two so that we could learn together, and I enjoyed it, he didn't, so I continued playing and I never ended up ordering the harp that I wanted. Is your family musical? So this was a question about where my musical sort of origins come from, I suppose. My dad is the main musical person in the family. He plays clarinet, he plays saxophone, he also plays piano. He can pretty much play anything that you give to him to play. He sings as well. As I said, we used to do a lot of musical theatre, so in general the family is quite creative, if not necessarily musical. My mum does a lot of painting and art, so yeah, we're a very creative family. Even my grandmother used to play piano as well, so definitely comes from a family of creative inspiration. How many hours do you play tin whistle a day? Now, I'm going to be honest here, I don't play whistle week in, week out. In fact, I tend to actually shoot a few videos in a row. So I learn a few tunes in the morning and then record those later that day or the following day. Then I edit those, so I've got a few videos in advance. And then I don't play for 3 weeks because I don't need to make another YouTube video. So if it wasn't for YouTube, I wouldn't play tin whistle. So thank you guys for watching. How did you learn Celtic playing techniques? Now this means the ornaments that you hear on tin whistle. I personally don't use many Irish ornaments or tin whistle ornaments, but in general the slides and the taps and the vibration that I use, I learned from YouTube videos. There's loads of information out there. I do have a YouTube video on some ornaments which you guys can check out up here. I'll also list it in the description below. Are there any tin whistle books you recommend? I learned to play everything myself. I learned by ear and I watched a few YouTube tutorials when I was first starting out, so I haven't actually used any tin whistle books, so to speak. The only tin whistle book I've got is the Clark tin whistle book. I do have that in a video here on YouTube, but I have pulled a few together in my Amazon store that I thought had good reviews or I'd heard people mention were good books to follow. So if you are interested in following sheet music or you need a visual reference that you can have in your hands to play tin whistle, then I do have a few linked. I'll add that in the description box below for you guys to check out. Do you play in a band? No. I did used to obviously be involved in musical theatre. I did play once, quite near to the end of us doing musical theatre, so I did play low whistle for a song in that, but I haven't really played with anybody else in any other situation ever. Do I play other instruments? In my past, I briefly played oboe when I was a kid in school. I hated it. I made it sound like a duck. I also had a few piano lessons when I was a kid, but never really got into that. I can strum a few chords to put a few songs together on guitar, the Irish flute and a Native American flute as well. Recorder, again, something I played in school, but I don't really play anything to the same level that I play tin whistle. Are there any other instruments you would like to learn? Well, yeah, I'd love to be able to play the harp, maybe the violin, and definitely the theremin. I will put a little clip in here. If you could give yourself one piece of advice when starting out, what would it be? Mainly, don't be put off by other people's opinions of what you're playing. It doesn't make any difference if you play and you're enjoying it and you enjoy the way you play, then that is all there is to it. Playing an instrument should be purely enjoyment. So try to play the songs that you enjoy, because if you spend more time playing and enjoying it, you're more likely to stick with it. In your opinion, why do tin whistles squeak on the high notes? The two main ones are breath control, so you haven't put the right amount of breath into your whistle for that particular note that you're trying to play. And also the quality of your tin whistle. If you have a lower quality tin whistle or a cheaper tin whistle or something that's been mass produced, that is more likely to have squeaky higher notes than a handmade whistle or one that is perhaps a better quality whistle. Very experienced players, though, can get amazingly pure and clean high notes from more affordable tin whistles. So it's a bit of a balance between how well you know the whistle, your personal technique, and the quality of the whistle as well. What songs do you recommend a brand new whistler to learn? In general, I always recommend songs that you know. If it's a tune you know, you're going to be able to play it so much easier than if you're trying to learn a tune from scratch, especially if you're playing by ear. But in general, if you've got an idea of how the tune goes in your head, then your brain is already halfway there. It kind of will help your fingers get to know what they need to play. So if you're just starting out, focus on tunes you know, and that'll get you going off to a really good start. Where did you learn to play tin whistle? I taught myself from home. I looked at a few YouTube videos. I looked at the sheets that came with the whistle I ordered just to see the basic notes, where they were on that whistle, listened to how other people were doing it and tried to copy that myself. And then what I found was that the tunes that I wanted to play weren't available on tin whistle in any form, with sheet music or tabs or whatever. I wanted to play sort of movie tunes and songs that I knew. I didn't pick up tin whistle because of an interest in Irish music. I didn't really know anything about that, to be honest, when I first started playing. So yeah, I just saw it as a general instrument, like any other instrument out there, and I wanted to be able to play tunes that I knew. So yeah, I just kind of taught myself by listening to those tunes and working out where the notes were for those tunes, and kind of went from there. What is your favourite high D whistle? My favourite high D whistle for practice at home is the Chris Wall Sweet Brass. It's been my favourite whistle for a long time now. The reason being is that it is so easy to get into the upper octave. You don't need a lot of air, and because of that, it's a lot quieter in general. So the lower notes, they don't have a lot of volume. It wouldn't be a great session whistle, but it is amazing for playing around the house. You can play to your heart's content without worrying about having to, I don't know, apologize to the neighbors because you've been playing for hours really, really loudly. It is a beautiful, quiet little whistle, and it is so easy to hit those high notes without using your entire lung capacity. Do you write the tabs yourself? I do. I do have a video on how to make tabs where I discuss all the different ways that I've used to make tabs in the past. I will link that up here and in the video description, and maybe at the end of the video as well. Basically, I work out a tune by listening to that tune, trying to work out what those notes are on the whistle, then I write those down, and then I actually work from letters rather than tabs, so I write down A, B, C, D, F, etc. And then I convert those into tabs for you guys because you guys seem to like tabs. So yeah, that is my process. Does your husband play tin whistle too? No, he doesn't. If he's stuck at it, I think he would be able to play tin whistle pretty well, but it's just not really something he's interested in. Do you read music? Yes and no. I don't read music at a playing pace, but what I can do is I can look at sheet music and I can tell you, or I can work out what those notes are because I know which notes are on which line of the sheet music, but what I can't do is I can't just look at it and say, oh, this is A, G, B, C, D. I can't do it at speed, at pace whatsoever. I also have a vague idea of, I sort of know the timings and I know the length of most notes until you get into too many dots and wiggly bits. So the basics of the notes on the sheet, yeah, but not at a playing pace, which is why I use letters. They seem to be the only thing that I can read at speed. I guess because we read letters at speed anyway. What is your favourite tin whistle tune? I don't really have one, but there are one or two that I always really enjoy playing. Slow Air is one, and Inner Sheer. I really, really love those two tunes. They're really enjoyable to play. I would say that I probably haven't found my favourite tin whistle tune yet, but they are two of my favourites. What is the best breathing technique? The best breathing technique for tin whistle is Just to breathe. Really, this entirely depends on the genre of music you're playing, the song you're playing, the speed of that song, your own lung capacity, your own preference to breathing. Your experience even. It is impossible to say what the best breathing technique is. As long as you can breathe and get air in, it doesn't matter whether you breathe through your mouth, whether you breathe through your nose, whether you take a huge breath and get as many notes out as you can, or whether you take small breaths really, really often. It really all depends on what whistle you're playing, your lung capacity, the whistle's individual air requirements, the speed of the song, where you can fit those breaths in. Just breathe. Breathe whenever you can breathe, and you'll be fine. Which whistle is the best for sessions? Now, I've never played in a session, so I wouldn't know, but from what I've heard and what I can gather, the louder the whistle, the better, so that it doesn't get overpowered by other instruments that are involved. Something probably in the key of D would be most useful, because that will generally be what other session musicians will use to play in. I guess it would be useful to have a whistle that was tunable if you were playing with other instruments, not necessarily other tin whistles, but other instruments, because then you could adjust the tuning of your whistle to match those other instruments as well. So if you're looking for a good session whistle, I would recommend tunable, loud, and in the key of D. What is your favorite metal for whistles? I guess brass. I do have a few high whistles from brass that have a very nice sound. I prefer those to the sound of the high whistles I have that are made from nickel. I also like alloy whistles. I'm quite impressed with most of the low whistles that I've tried. But yeah, I would say brass is my favourite metal for tin whistles. How do you choose songs for YouTube? I have varying systems for this. I started out by playing songs that I wanted to play that I liked and enjoyed. Then I started getting requests from people. So now I take all the requests that you guys send in, and if one song stands out to me that has been requested by multiple people, that gets pushed to the top of my list. So if, say, 15 people have requested the same song, Pachelbel's Canon, it is coming on Friday, then I will try my best to work out that particular tune and then put that out on YouTube. Also, if someone sends me a song and I adore it, then I will push that up the list as well, because it's easier to work out tunes that I like the sound of. I find it easier to play slower tunes than I do quicker tunes, so requests for slower tunes often get made a lot more quickly than requests for faster tunes, because I find them easier to work out. Also, sometimes people send me like coffee to make requests, and then I feel obliged to make those videos, but it would be best if you guys didn't do that, because obviously if you send me coffee and you want a specific song and it's a fast song and I can't work it out, then I feel really bad. What kind of reception do non-trad tunes get on Tin Whistle? Has that changed? At the start, I didn't really know how much Tin Whistle was associated with Irish music. I didn't know that. I'd never been taught that. As I said, I wasn't interested in playing Tin Whistle because of that. So to me, Tin Whistle was just another instrument, and then I played whatever I wanted on that instrument, as you would on any other instrument that you buy. When I post videos that are non-trad, people do have opinions on that. A lot of people think that I shouldn't be playing those kind of tunes on Tin Whistle. But in general, for beginners and people who've picked up the Tin Whistle for reasons like I have, they seem to really enjoy being able to play a tune that they recognize. So a lot of people enjoy playing movie tunes and theme tunes to things, game music that you wouldn't generally hear on Tin Whistle if you were from a traditional music background. The opinions on those are mixed. Beginners tend to like it. Trad musicians obviously tend to hate me big time. Will you play more Welsh tunes? I'm trying to find some more Welsh tunes that are suitable for Tin Whistle, potentially tunes that people may have heard already that might have an interest in. As my audience grows on YouTube, I try my best to provide videos that a lot of people will want to watch. In general, not many people are searching for Welsh tunes. So when I'm trying to post tunes that will be helpful to most people, Welsh tunes isn't really up there on the list. If you guys do know some Welsh tunes that you would like to hear on Tin Whistle, let me know in the comments below and I'll see what I can do. Are you moving to Uilleann pipes? Is that how you say it? No, I'm not. I do have a warble, and that did come with a bagpipe bag attachment, and you can change the settings so that you can play it like Uilleann pipes. But no, I have no plans to at the moment, simply because I have so many hobbies and other things to do that I probably wouldn't have the time to get round to learning to play that, as well as learning all the different tunes and making the videos to put out on YouTube, as well as my job and my family and everything else that we have to do whilst we're in quarantine at the moment. So probably not. When a song has an amazing fill section, do you play that as well as the melody or lyrics when you're working out a tune on Tin Whistle? It doesn't matter, but generally yes, unless it overlaps with the main lyrics that someone would be singing. In general, if someone asks me to work out a tune that's not usually played on Tin Whistle, then I would go by the lyrics. So it would be what you'd sing if you were singing it on karaoke. For tunes that do have specific Tin Whistle solos in them, obviously I would also work out those in between, and certain sections have instrumental parts within the tune, so you may as well play that, to be honest, if you're learning to play the tune on Tin Whistle as well. Can you provide some tips on how to build confidence playing in front of others? This was from someone who said they were scared of disturbing their neighbours. I do have ways that you can quieten your tin whistle if you are stuck at home and you are worried about your playing driving your neighbours mad. I will put that link here so you guys can check that video out and make your whistles a little bit quieter. As for confidence playing in front of other people, the best way to get over that is to find confidence in the way you play yourself. If you've practiced a tune multiple times and you are confident in yourself that you can play that, that's basically all you need. Practice until you are confident that you can play something well, and then try that in front of other people. And if that goes well, then your confidence will gradually build from there. Being underprepared or unprepared whatsoever is the scariest thing in front of people. So go in prepared and you will find success. What is the process involved in making a video? I do have a link to all my equipment that I use for filming. I have linked that video up here, which shows you all of the equipment that I use and the software that I use for making videos. My process of making a video is simple, really. I choose the tune based on your suggestions. I listen to the tune first, then I learn it and try and work out those notes on Tin Whistle, as I've mentioned. I then write those out as letters. I then convert those into tabs for you guys, which I add into the video, and then I just film and play. I film close-ups so you can see my fingers, and I film an intro and outro. I stick it all together and then it is on YouTube. It takes so much longer than you think. I've made it sound really simple, but anybody who's experienced filmmaking or making videos knows that it takes so much time to set up and edit and render. It is, yeah, it's a really long process. What do you like to do when you're not whistling? In general, my hobbies include walking, going on adventures, traveling, canoeing when we're allowed out of the house, drawing, painting, art in general, movies, obviously. Everybody loves movies. But more inside my house at the moment, we've been knitting. So I've been knitting birds. This is a little blue tit. Yeah, he's cute. My hobbies outside of the house used to be things like, we did a lot of musical theatre, my small group of family and friends, so that includes singing, dancing. I absolutely adore dancing, so we do ballroom dancing and Latin American dancing as well. But yeah, we kind of stopped doing that now because a few members in our group have changed interests, I suppose. So yeah, we used to do a lot of that, now we don't so much. I do make films, little films with that same group of friends, so yeah, lots of different hobbies. What is your job? My job is that I make video commercials for people to use mainly for online businesses or online promotional purposes. So I do everything from script writing to performing in the actual video. I film those videos myself. I also edit those videos for the clients as well. That covers everything from advertising people's events, educational videos for video courses online, product demonstrations. I also do a little bit of modeling and a lot of voiceover. I also read audiobooks and things like that. So it's quite a varied job, but it is mainly for online applications and online marketing and advertising and anything digital that you guys can download or enjoy online. Have I appeared in commercials? And if so, is there footage I'm not allowed to show? There's no real content that I can't show because obviously all the content I make is designed to be shown worldwide via the internet. So yeah, so I have been in thousands and thousands of commercials. Another question along that line is, I mentioned that for my job I do accents, so how many accents do you do? Well, it's a strange question because basically I do an accent as and when I'm asked to do an accent. So as standard I could do a basic USA style accent, or I could do a Southern style accent. I do a Welsh and a British, a Scottish and Irish, an Australian really badly. I also do sort of received pronunciation. I could do a London accent. So I could do roughly 10. But what I would do is the client would ask for a specific accent and then I would learn their script with that accent that they've requested. So it's sort of voice coaching for a role, so to speak, rather than being able to generally speak in a set accent. Do you speak Welsh? No, I do not speak Welsh. I live in a place that's quite close to the English border. A lot of people in the area also are English. There are a lot of Welsh speakers around here, but I do have family in North Wales and they all speak Welsh, so yeah, I don't. But I do speak German. Have I been to the USA? I've only actually been to New York in the USA 12, 13 years ago now, that I first went to New York for 3 days, and then most recently last year we went to Niagara Falls to start with, and obviously mainly in Canada, but we did go over to the American side, and we then went on from there to New York again because my husband hadn't been. So we were planning to come to San Francisco in May, but obviously due to the coronavirus pandemic, all travel is halted. So that holiday vacation is now being put off until hopefully next year when everything will have settled down and we will be able to once again return to the USA. What is your favourite movie, song or book? My favourite movie has to be, I'm gonna have to choose 3 because it's the Lord of the Rings trilogy. It has shaped my life, genuinely. I was a kid when these movies came out, and it was because of these movies that I wanted to get into initially acting, but then directing. So from there I've directed multiple films and multiple theatre performances, and I've acted in films, theatre, yeah, commercials, everything. So definitely the Lord of the Rings trilogies. As for books, I like the Philip Pullman, His Dark Materials trilogy. That was one of my favourites when I was a kid. In my adult life, sort of quantum mechanics and some astrophysics. Brian Cox, I really like his The Quantum Universe, I think it was called. That was an amazing book. So probably from my adult life, I would go for that. And from my childhood, I would go for His Dark Materials. As for song, yeah, how can you choose a favourite song? I like all sorts of music, but in general, style-wise, I kind of like swing music most. What is your favourite song or band from high school? Nickelback, How You Remind Me. I mean, should I really have admitted that on the internet? I adore that song. What is your Hogwarts house? Gryffindor, obviously. Do you have a PlayStation? No, not at the moment. I used to have PlayStations when I was younger. My family did have a few different PlayStations, but now we have an Xbox One. We've also got a Wii, in case we need to get active during self-isolation. And we've even got a Nintendo 64 because Mario Kart is the best game ever. Are you a mum? I am not. I find that the most terrifying thought in the world. So I'm probably never going to be a mum. Kids seem to like me. I have no idea why. But the actual thought of being responsible for a tiny little life is completely terrifying. So no. What means happiness for you? This is the deepest question I've been asked in my 40 questions. The key to happiness for me, basically avoid all stress. So I find happiness when we go on vacation or on holiday, where responsibilities that you have when you're at home get completely forgotten about. If you go out and you're doing an activity that, again, allows you that release from the everyday responsibilities that you have, kind of why I enjoy dancing or adventure, going out and doing something fun, active, any of those things that allow you to appreciate all the amazing things that you get to do with all the amazing people around you, that is where I find the most happiness. And finally, how is life during quarantine? Well, I think everybody can agree this is a kind of scary, uncertain time. We do have a lot of family and friends that are in the very vulnerable category that probably would get seriously ill if they became infected with coronavirus. So in general, that's kind of scary. There have been a few deaths of younger people who have no underlying health conditions. So going out and getting food and being outside in general in the vicinity of people is kind of scary, because you don't know, even if you get it yourself, you might not survive it. So in general, it is still scary. Other than that, we're trying to make the most of it. We're trying to do, we're still working at the moment. It's quieter than usual, but we are still working, at least in the mornings. We're going out for exercise while we're allowed out of the house. We're doing things like knitting projects and art projects. We like to play board games, so we've got a whole cupboard full of board games. We started growing our own vegetables. We're just making the most and spending quality time together. What else can you do? Obviously, it's difficult to be away from people for any length of time, but we're trying to think ahead to 6 months down the line, maybe more, where everything is going to be more normal and how much we'll appreciate every day-to-day thing that we get to miss at the moment, how precious all those things are. So yeah, we are staying positive, we are keeping focused, trying our best to keep clean, and taking every day as it comes and making the most of it. So that is 40 questions from 40,000 subscribers. I told you this would be my longest video on YouTube. Don't forget to check out some of my other videos that I've linked in the description, which might be useful to answer some of your questions. I'll also put some up on screen here. I hope you enjoyed it. Until later in the week, where we will try a duet, and next week where we might do some night wish. I hope you enjoy your time together in quarantine, safe from the outside world. I'll see you guys soon. Thanks for watching, and thanks for taking me to 40,000 subscribers. Woohoo! I'll see you guys soon. Bye.